For any of you that are students outside of the University of New Brunswick, I need to give a shout out to my fellow librarians. I highly suggest you reach out to either the entrepreneurship or probably more likely the business librarian at your university or college to learn more about the market research databases available to you. And of course, any UNB students joining the workshop today, please feel free to send me an email and I would be more than happy to walk you through some of the market research databases we have available. So before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I will be making these slides available after the workshop as a supplement to any notes you might be taking. We will also share with you a copy of the judging rubric and a recording of the workshop. I've also saved some time at the end of the workshop for questions. Just because of my tech setup, I'm not able to see the chat while I'm presenting. But if you do have a question during the presentation, you can feel free to unmute yourself and interrupt me. We've also got Nandi on the call with us today to help answer questions as well. I believe he's also giving an FAQ session directly after this workshop if there's any kind of general questions about the competition as well. So again, before we get started, I also wanted to give some high-level details on what you can expect the day of the elevator pitch, which takes place Thursday, January 28th from 1 to 4 p.m. You will have 1 minute to pitch your business idea and you will not be allowed to use slides. So it will just be you on camera giving your pitch. There are prizes. So it's $1,000 for first place, $500 for second place, $250 for third place, and then $500 for viewer's choice. So the judges, I will be one of them, will determine the teams that win first, second, and third, and then the public will determine the viewer's choice winner. So for the elevator pitch competition, there will not be separate tracks for undergraduate and graduate teams. So all of you will be competing for the same prizes. And Nandi, feel free to interrupt me if I'm getting any of this wrong. So in terms of the outcomes for today's workshop, the goal is for you to have an understanding of the content you need to cover in your elevator pitch, to know how to set up your virtual pitch. We'll go over the judging rubric, and then you'll learn how to register for a mentor session with me. So in a few cases throughout the workshop today, I'm going to be using Poll Everywhere. And so some of you might already be familiar with it because we are in an online world. But if not, you're able to use your phone, your tablet, or laptop to respond to questions. So if you want to grab one of those devices right now, or maybe the device you're using right now is the one you're going to be answering questions on. Either way, just make sure you've got something to submit your answers. And you're going to be able to participate by either sending a text message, or you can visit the URL poll.ev.com/SallyA. And so here's an example of what you're going to see on a question slide. You'll see a message that you'll want to text to a specific answer, to a specific number. So in this case, the message is presenter Pete to the number 22333. And so you'll get a text response, and then from there forward, you'll just type your answer in and text it, and that will be your response for Poll Everywhere. If you're going to the URL, it would be pollev.com/SallyA. In this example, it's presenter Pete. And then at the web page, you'll be able to select or type in your answer. So on that note, let's do a test and make sure everyone's got the hang of it. Okay, so we've already got some answers coming in. So my question was, if you could have a superpower, which of these would you want most? Invisibility, super strength, talk to animals, read minds, or the ability to fly. And for those of you who are still putting in your answers, Just be careful when you're typing Sally A on your phone. I was testing it out a couple days ago and it auto-corrected to just Sally, and they ended up joining someone else's Poll Everywhere group. So just make sure it's Sally A and you'll be good to go. So we'll give a couple more minutes, but it looks like read minds is the top answer, with talk to animals and ability to fly coming in with a tie. So very interesting. I kind of threw talk to animals in there as kind of a throwaway, but it seems like that's something lots of people are interested in. Okay, so thank you so much for putting in your answers. We're going to go into another Poll Everywhere question. And so I'm a bit curious to hear from everyone what you think an elevator pitch is, just to kind of help get a bit of a base in terms of what people believe an elevator pitch is. Quick business overview. Yeah, that's a very succinct way to describe it. Getting people excited about your idea. Absolutely. Selling point is definitely something you want to talk about in your pitch. Absolutely. Quick hook. Yes, a hook is very important to a pitch. You want to catch the attention of people. Quick way to blow people away. Want to hear more from you. Quick intro to your business, interest generator. 1 minute to sell your product/business. Yeah, these are all great answers. And it seems like you guys definitely have an idea of what an elevator pitch is meant for. Yeah, I like that, telling a story. I talk about storytelling a bit later in my presentation. Awesome. Okay, so this is my definition of an elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch gives an entrepreneur a specific amount of time to pitch their product or service to a potential investor. And so the idea is to keep your elevator pitch concise yet informative, so an investor, or a judge in this case, can have a clear understanding of your business idea. And so if you're not familiar with the format of an elevator pitch, or you're curious to see an entrepreneur pitch their business, I recommend you take a look at these 2 business pitching series. Dragon's Den is a popular show in Canada. Shark Tank is the American version. But Dragon's Den is a show where Canadian entrepreneurs pitch their business ideas to a panel of investors. And so there's currently 4 seasons available on Canadian Netflix. But if you're located outside of Canada, there's also an elevator pitch series on YouTube from Entrepreneur Magazine, which should be available to watch no matter where you're located. So I've hyperlinked both of these shows on this slide. So you'll have those links if you're curious for when we share the slides after the workshop. So now into another Poll Everywhere question. So before I go over the content that we're looking for you to include in your elevator pitch, I'm curious to hear what you consider to be the top 3 pieces of information you need to include in your pitch. What it is. Yeah, you want people to know what it is you're doing, what it is you're selling. Mission. Mission can be important if you're able to maybe weave it into the problem or solution that you're addressing. Because you only have 1 minute, there is a limited amount of time to talk about things. Problem, solution, value proposition, absolutely. The market, who you are, core product, team, purpose, service description. Yeah, and so all of these answers are absolutely content that you can include in an elevator pitch and put all of these together, and you would have one really great pitch. And yeah, it definitely seems like problem and the solution are kind of the top answers that people are submitting. So let's hop into what we're looking for in Apex in terms of the kind of content that we're looking for you to cover in your elevator pitch. And so The kind of information that you include in an elevator pitch can vary depending on who you're pitching to. But for Apex, there is specific information that judges will be looking for. And so it's going to be important to introduce yourself and the business. You want to address the problem you're solving with your business, discuss your value proposition. You want to cover any competitors and highlight your market opportunity. You want to speak to your revenue and profit projections. And then finally, you want to end off with the ask to the judges. And so this is quite a large list of information to cover in only 60 seconds. But I'm going to break down each of these areas to help give you an idea of where you could potentially start. So to begin, you want to make sure you introduce yourself and the name of your business to the judges. Sometimes it can be easy to get caught up in trying to explain your business, but it's important to let the judges know who you are and the role that you play in the business and the larger team. You also, of course, like many of you said, you want to clearly outline the problem you're addressing. In particular, the pain point that customers are experiencing, because this one will then allow you to come in and introduce how your solution solves that pain for customers and the benefits that you're offering them through your solution. And then this really comes into talking about your value proposition, because when you're describing your solution, you need to make sure that you're driving home the value proposition of your business. And so this means you need to convey to the judges why your product deserves to have people pay money for it. And you want to make sure that you focus on the primary feature, so that value proposition that will entice people to buy from you and not your competitors. And then this is a good opportunity to address your competition and explain the advantage that you can offer to customers over your competitors. You also want to make sure that you describe who your target customer is and how large of a market they provide for your business. So for example, perhaps you are targeting people who practice yoga at least once a week, and you've determined that 500,000 people in Canada meet this criteria, which demonstrates your market opportunity in terms of the number of potential customers available. And so this demonstrates that you've done your research, and this is the kind of information that judges will want to hear. And so I need to give another shout out to the library, because this is really where the library can help you when it comes to finding this kind of information. And so depending on your library, they should have business or market research resources available to help you find out more information about potential competitors and your market opportunity. And so for any students from UNB, feel free to send me an email if you're interested in learning more about the resources that the library offers. And so heading into revenue and profit projections, your pitch shouldn't necessarily provide deep details on your profit and revenue projections. Again, you've only got 1 minute to pitch. Those deep details are what we're going to find in your business plan. But it is important to mention maybe how you're going to make your first sales, or how your sales have grown, or maybe the kinds of major expenses your business might have. You want to demonstrate to the judges that you have a viable business opportunity that is generating or has the potential to generate sales. And then finally, you want to include your ask to the judges. And so you're not going to be receiving the investment amount that you ask for, but you still want to make sure that you put thought into coming up with a reasonable ask. So what will you be using the investment for, and how will it lead to the growth and success for your business? The judges will want to see that you've made these considerations in coming up with your ask. And so I've just gone over a lot of information for you to include in your pitch, but it's important for you to tell your business story. Like, one of the answers said earlier about telling your story. So if that means moving things around so the story you're trying to tell makes sense, then make sure you do that. And I think too, you don't need to necessarily put this into a formula and lay it out that way. If talking about your problem means maybe you were using a competitor's product and you noticed issues with it and you decided to develop a solution to improve upon what competitors were offering, then do something like that. You don't need to talk about problem, solution, competitors, market. It's not, we're not trying to dictate how you tell your story. We want you to do it in a way that makes sense to you. And because that's how it makes sense to the judges and the audience that you're speaking to. And so I've just gone over the pieces of an elevator pitch. Then it's up to you to find the order that makes the most sense for your story. And so that is what will make it easy for the judges and audience to follow along with what you're saying. Because again, you only have 1 minute. And so you want to make sure that what you're saying has a natural flow that people can easily follow. Some other things that you want to remember when you're working on your pitch or presenting your pitch, you want to make sure that you start your pitch with a hook. So something to catch the attention of the judges and audience to make them want to listen to the rest of your pitch. So I suggest trying out different openings with your team, friends, or family, and getting their feedback on which one they like the most. And because you've only got 60 seconds to impress the judges, make sure that you show your enthusiasm and your interest in your business idea. And then lastly, be confident. You need to remember that you are the expert in the room on your business idea. And so remembering that, just speak confidently, make direct eye contact with the camera, and try to relax. It is only 60 seconds. And then lastly, because we're going to be doing these pitches in a virtual environment, you want to consider your presentation setup. So think about where you're going to be giving your pitch and make sure that you're in a quiet area so no one interrupts you while you're giving your pitch. And there are some other factors that you should consider. So I've put together 2 scenarios that show some bad and good examples of a pitch setup. And we're going to use poll everywhere again. So you can critique both examples, telling me what was done well and what was not done well and what was done well. And so I use myself as a model for both of these photos. So please be kind, but also just tell me what was not done well. So here's our first photo example. So what do you think was not done well in this online elevator pitch setup? Not professionally dressed, 100%. I'm wearing a Roots hoodie. The lighting is very dark, yes. Poor lighting, 100%. Yes, I am reading from a script and I'm making it very obvious. You can see me holding the paper up in front of my face. I'm looking down. I'm not making eye contact with the camera. Reading off a script, yes. Paper visible. I also felt, you can't really see it, but my hair was up in a messy bun. So I didn't look super professional. In the background, you can see a fanny pack, a coat. It's not the best background. And so I just wanted to show this as an example of not the greatest setup. And so we're going to go to the next one. And so what do you think was done well in this elevator pitch setup? Formal clothes. Yep, I've just got a black t-shirt on with a blazer. The lighting is much better. I've got a window in front of me. I've also got an overhead light on to make sure I'm fully lighted. I'm looking directly at the camera, engaged with the camera. Neat hair, thank you. Semi-neat. My ponytail wasn't looking too great that day. Yeah, and well-lit area. The background is very neutral. There's a couple photos back there, but nothing too distracting. And I also find having your laptop a bit elevated gives you more of a straight on angle. And so if you have a laptop stand, or if you can put some books underneath your laptop to help elevate it, that looks great as well. Yeah, confident eye contact, just yeah, all the things for you to consider when you're working on what your elevator pitch setup will look like. So thank you everyone for all of your answers. I really appreciate that. So now I just wanted to quickly summarize everything I've gone over by sharing with you the judging rubric that will be used to evaluate your pitches. So as you can see, everything I've just gone over is covered in the rubric. So the judges will be looking to make sure that you've included the information that we're looking for, that you've considered the environment that you're presenting in, and that you show confidence and enthusiasm while you're pitching. But again, don't forget that you're the expert on your idea. So be confident in your pitch, and that will come through to the judges. And we will be sharing this pitch rubric with you as well, so you will have a copy of that. So if some of you are feeling a bit stressed about putting together an elevator pitch, I don't want you to worry. I'm going to be offering mentor sessions where you have the option to meet with me for a 15-minute meeting to go over your draft pitch. So I'm going to be available to meet with you over Microsoft Teams this week, and that's going to start tomorrow until this Friday. So please just make sure you come prepared to our meeting with at least a draft of your pitch. These sessions are meant for it to be an opportunity for me to provide some feedback on what you've already put together. And so you're going to be able to book these sessions with me using Microsoft Bookings. And I wanted to quickly walk you through what that looked like. So I'm going to quickly open this in my browser. So this is what the landing page looks like. It's just an Apex Elevator Pitch Mentor session for 15 minutes. And as you can see, the 19th to the 22nd are the date options available for you to choose. So if we're on the 19th, you can see the time slots available here, and you can scroll down and they go into the afternoon. So you can click on the days to see the times available. So once you pick one, you can scroll down, put in your name and your email. Oops, what did I do? Oh, my laptop hiccuped there a little. Do not give me your phone number or address. Those are not required at all. If you have any notes that you want me to know ahead of time, just feel free to throw those in there. And then for additional information, if you could just give me your team name, let me know if you're currently a student at the University of New Brunswick, and then I just ask you to let me know if you are confirming that you are going to come prepared to the mentor session with a draft of your elevator pitch. And then you just click book, and you will get an email confirmation and a calendar invite for this time, which will include a Microsoft Teams link that you can click, and it will give you access to our virtual meeting. So you are able to reschedule, cancel, create a new booking if you so choose. But that is how to book a mentor session with me. And so with that, are there any questions?
Yeah, I do have a quick question.
Sure.
For the pitch, for the mentoring sessions, are we restricted to just looking over the pitch, or are we also able to actually pitch and do it in front of you and then get some feedback on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can 100% do the pitch and we can talk about it after the fact, or we can look at a paper copy if you just wanted to kind of go over what you put together so far. It's completely up to you. I just want to make sure that you come prepared with at least something for us to go over. So if that's your full pitch and you want to deliver it and we can talk about it, then absolutely.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
So for the elevator pitch, can we put a background, like a virtual background? Like
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. I mean, Nandi, I don't know if you have any feelings against virtual backgrounds, but I think that they're completely fine. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Sally, I had a question. In terms of introducing ourselves, is it mandatory that we do it at the beginning of our pitch, or if it makes sense to kind of sew it into the story, can we do it that way, or do the judges need it up front?
No, I say weave it in wherever it makes the most sense, just as long as you make sure to at least introduce yourself at some point, then that's fine.
Thank you.
So Nandi added a comment in here that virtual backgrounds can take up some bandwidth, but you are more than welcome to use them.
Yes, please, I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to ask if the background, I can just put something like a white sheet, or must it be like decorated?
No, we're not looking for decorations at all. Just as long as it's not a messy background. So if you're going to maybe use a sheet as a backdrop, that's 100% okay. I think we're just looking to minimize potential distractions in the background.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And there was a question about sharing the link for booking mentor sessions. In the email that we're going to send post this session, it will include the slides, the judging rubric, a recording of the session, and also the link to book a mentor session with me.
I have a question.
Hi, Sally, I have a question. Will we be able to all listen to one on the speech, or it's gonna be people waiting in the room, then getting in one by one to the pitch?
I believe people are able to listen because we're doing a viewer's choice. Yes, Nandi is nodding. I believe you are able to view other teams' elevator pitches. Nandi isn't nodding now.
Okay.
Oh, he's typing. Oh, there will also be, the elevator pitches are a live stream. Yes. So you are all going to be able to watch the elevator pitches of the other teams.
And when we are doing the presentation, do we, it's only the person that is presenting to introduce themselves and the business, or the entire team?
So that I'm not too sure. I don't know if there would be enough time in the pitch to introduce the entire team. So I think we would just be looking for you to introduce yourself. Yeah, Nandi's confirming, just yourself and the business.
All right. And an additional question to that, since it's 1 minute, we want to get other information like for what you presented as much as we can. So our introduction should be limited to our name or what we are doing at UNB for those who are students of UNB, or how long should be our personal introduction as a judge? How would you prefer it?
I mean, I wouldn't want to put a specific time allotment on the introduction that you give yourself. And again, it could be something that, like the earlier question, that you weave into your pitch. So maybe you start your pitch with your hook, your statement that's going to grab the attention of the viewers and the judges, and then you can go in and say, now that I've got your attention, I'm your name, from the business, and I'm excited to tell you about what we're working on, the problem that we're trying to solve, that kind of thing. So just doing it in a way that makes the most sense to how you want to put together your elevator pitch. We're not looking for it to be in a specific order. We're just looking to make sure that you're including all of this information in your pitch, but the order is completely up to you.
All right, thank you. And one more last question.
Sure.
For the position that you're working at, would you mind to give us like a little introduction on how you'll be introducing yourself if it was a pitch? Because I'm from engineering background, whereby we mainly do the mathematical part of it, and we don't do like presentation and stuff like that. So if you would give it a try so that we may learn from you as the judge, I think that would be so beneficial.
You're putting me on the spot here. But I would probably say something like, have you ever struggled with determining the potential market for your business or learning more about your business competitors? Have no fear. I'm Sally Armstrong. I'm an entrepreneurship librarian. This is my expertise, and I am here to help you navigate finding that kind of information. And let me tell you how I do it. Something like that.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. And book a mentor session with me, and that's something that we can talk about for sure.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Yeah, Ria, we're gonna we'll send you the booking link in the email, so it will be coming. I'm glad you're all asking for it. That means you're going to be booking sessions with me. When will the order of the pitch presentations be announced? Oh, it's like Nandi's typing out a response because I'm
still funny.
Oh no, we can hear you properly
Yes.
now.
Awesome. Okay, so I can speak now. So all of you have registered as a team, as an individual, but you haven't registered for taking part in the elevator pitch because it's only one person from your team. In the email that we'll be sending right after, the last link highlighted in yellow must be completed. It doesn't have to be completed by the teams that are single member teams, but if you have 2, 3, or 4 members in your team, please complete that by Wednesday midnight, and the schedule will be out on Thursday.
Great. Well, if there aren't any more questions related to the elevator pitch, I'm going to hand it back over to Nandi. But thank you, everyone, for joining the workshop today. If you do have any other questions, feel free to send Nandi or myself an email, and we'll find you the information that you need. And I look forward to meeting all of you in the mentor sessions this week.
Thanks so much, Sally. That was awesome.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So if we have some time until 3:25, if any of you have any questions about onboarding or about the competition, we can use this time to ask any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah. Or any questions about the format of the competition?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have 4 of us in our team, and I want to know how we're going to do how we're going to present, because we have to present our business plan. So I don't know if we're supposed to use a single computer, or each and every one of us will be on his or her own computer, so that we work from separate computers or work from a single computer.
So it'll kind of be like this meeting, but one of you will share your screen, and all, like for example, if there are 4 people in your team, all 4 of you will be invited to present your business plans in front of the judges. You can choose how you present your slides. And one person can share their slides, and you can take turns depending on each slide that you want to present on. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so it means we're supposed to be on separate computers, and then
I mean,
one person is just doing the presentation, or we can take turns on.
It depends.
Take
Like
turns on.
some teams have team members who are located in different places, so obviously they would have to log in from different computers. And if you're both from the same household and you're in New Brunswick, I mean, given the restrictions because of COVID, it might be better for you to log on separately.
Okay. Okay.
So the reason
Okay.
why we asked
thanks very
everyone to register individually is so that we can invite you all individually to the meeting, and then you can plan amongst yourselves who would share the screen, and then more than one person can present during the business plan presentation. It's only during the elevator pitch that it's only one person per team.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Welcome. Did any of you have any issue onboarding with the MFA yesterday? If you're from UNB, you probably won't have that issue. But if you're non-UNB, to get onto the competition platform, you would have to register for MFA, which is a bit complicated. You need to have your phone and laptop open at the same time. I'll be holding FAQ sessions every evening starting today until Friday. It's the same link that I sent in the email this morning. Jump on that meeting link anytime, and I'll be there to sort of help out with helping you get set up, because all the announcements and the calls for when you're like reminders and stuff will take place on Teams. We won't be sending individual emails at every time. So please take advantage of the FAQ sessions every evening so I can help you get onboarded properly.
Nandi, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have a problem confessing my tremendously low IQ. And so here we are talking about MFA. What does MFA stand for? What are we talking about here?
Okay, so the University of New Brunswick rolled out, or I don't know if it was UNB or Microsoft. So it's called MFA, stands for multi-factor authentication. So it's kind of like you get a ping on your phone when you log into your system, and you're supposed to say approve on your phone so that it recognizes at 2 points that you're logging in on your computer and on your phone. So because that was rolled out in January, we didn't realize that guest users who are non-UNB participants, and when I say non-UNB participants, it means anyone who has registered without a unb.ca email address. Because I noticed that some UNB participants have registered with their personal email addresses. So they would probably need to do that as well.
Got it. Yeah, I actually did have a bit of a problem with that, but now that I know what you're talking about, it's fine now.
Okay.
Hi, Nandi. Could you talk a little bit about the schedule for the competition after the elevator pitch?
Okay, so the first 2 days, I'll start with the 25th. So the competition officially begins next week. The first 2 days are the practice rounds. 25th is for undergrad, 26th is for grad track. 27th is the eliminations just for the business plan presentations, both for the grad and undergrad track. So on the 27th, 70 teams will present on one day to a bunch of judges. On the 28th is for both grad and undergrad, but for the elevator pitch round. So there'll be 70 individual 1-minute pitches on the 28th. And on the 29th, And on the 28th evening or night, there's a small networking evening that we'll have for everyone. At the end of that networking session, we'll be releasing the finalists who will take part on the 29th. And the finalists would be 6 finalists from the undergrad and 6 finalists from the grad track. So 12 presentations on the 29th. But that doesn't mean that you haven't won. If you don't make it to the finals, you're still eligible for theme-based awards. And if any of you have not registered, you can still let me know and I can add it to our records. Did I confuse you or did I answer your question?
No, that's great. I'm just wondering if can you send out that schedule and some of the details also about the business plan pitch? How long is it? What are the requirements?
Yes. Okay, I'll resend that to you. I've sent so many emails. I'm sure that it's gotten kind of lost in the mix. But I'll be sending a final schedule on Wednesday, and in every meeting link that I send, I'll also have the schedule in that meeting link. So you'll have it on email, and you'll have it within the meeting link details, just to be sure.
There were
Yes.
a couple of questions in the chat.
Sorry about that. Will there be, okay, so for the elevator pitches, there's no question and answer period after you make an elevator pitch. It's kind of rapid fire. There'll be a slide which will say the next team is presenting, then that person will come on 1 minute, then another slide, the next team. There'll be no questions. The judges will just be entering their scores as we go. But for the business plan presentations, whether it's for the eliminations or the finals or the practice rounds, you got 12 minutes to present and you got 15 minutes for question and answers.
There was a question about, do we also get some help for presentation slides? And would that be something that would be covered in the practice round? I believe the presentation slides question is related to the business plan, and because no slides are allowed for the elevator pitch.
Correct. So we don't have such an awesome workshop like we did for the elevator pitches for the business plan presentations. But your business plan presentations, if you're registered for the practice rounds, you'll get feedback from your judges on what works and areas that you could improve. That's why we ask people to register for the practice rounds. And having said that, on Tuesday, there's a workshop by Planet Hatch, and that'll help you for your business plan presentations as well. But it's not directly targeted to presentations specifically. So yeah, we don't have something specific for the presentations.
And then there was a question, do we need to send a separate email to let you know which group member will be doing the elevator pitch?
No need to send me an email. In the email that will be going out after this meeting with the links that Sally has prepared for the mentoring session, that I've added that link in that email as well. So you just have to click, enter your team name and the name of the person who will be doing the elevator pitch.
Nandi, I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
For the presentation that we do during the elimination round and the presentation that we will do in the final if selected, are those the same presentation? And are we repeating the same presentation? And if so, are we allowed to edit the slides after the elimination round if we do make it to the final?
Yeah, you can edit the slides as you like. That's why we haven't asked you to send in your presentation files to us. So let's say that you registered for practice, you do the eliminations and you make it to the finals. You can edit your presentation and you're encouraged to kind of make the tweaks based on the feedback that you get from your judges so that your final product will be like the best for the finals probably. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nandi, I also wanted to know, like, will we have like scheduled specific time on when we are supposed to do the elevator pitch? Because for some of us are UNB student and we have online classes. So it will be much better if we can have like a specific time slot for us to do our presentation, so that at least we know our way around it on how to work with our schedule on that day.
So what I can tell you for now is that the elevator pitches will be between 1 and 4 p.m. Atlantic time on Thursday. Once I have all of your teams registered for the elevator pitch, I'll make the schedule. Now, the reason why we're asking everyone to jump on Microsoft Teams is also that if you find that you cannot present at that time, and you can present at, say, 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock, you can reach out to the team who's presenting at 2 and say, hey, do you think we can switch? But that's where you'll have to get in touch with your team. That's why we want everyone on the team. And then you need to send an email to me and them confirming that, and I can switch the schedule then.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm Nadi, sorry, and I have one small question.
Yeah.
So regarding the Q&A session after the business plan presentation, so is that allowed to have the rest of team to come up with the answer, or it's only for presenter to take care of the Q&A?
Anyone from your team who's on that call at that point can jump in and answer a question. It's not, so there's no fixed presenter. It's just that from a tech perspective, only one person can share their screen at a time. But I mean, you can all design it in a way that you're all pitching in for different slides. And when the questions are given by the judges, you're encouraged that the entire team takes part.
Okay, cool. So for the business plan presentation, it could be like 2 or 3 team members to present. It depends on how the team flow the presentation, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Because for the elevator pitch, it's only allowed one person from the team to present elevator pitch, right? I just want to double check for the business plan presentation. Is that allowed to have different members to shift between the different sections?
You can.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And just another point to mention is that for the practice rounds, for the teams that have registered for the practice rounds, all the presentations will be recorded, and you can view your own presentation plus the feedback that the judges gave you during that presentation after that, and then you can make whatever changes that you like. But there will be no recordings for the eliminations. Any more questions? Well, if you have any questions that come up later during the day or during the week, you can jump on the FAQ meeting link, which I sent earlier this morning at any time between 7:30 and 9:30. And I'll be happy to help you with both onboarding as well as any questions about the competition. And thanks so much for your questions, because it helped me realize areas where there probably would have been gaps on my end in the communication. So I will try and send you one document that has everything clearly specified.
Thanks, Nandi. Thanks, Sally.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for the workshop.